Hey guys, welcome to round 2 with the Stillwater podcast, where we are talking about marriage. And I'm joined once again by my wife, who's usually serving in the kids ministry and all of that. But I love that a couple weeks ago when I was talking to her about the series, she said, I think we should do a podcast about it. and here we are. So last week we talked about women and we talked about the role of a wife and all of that. And today it's my turn. It's all about the men. They ask me all the questions. No. But no, it is like, what is the role of a husband and of a man in a marriage and all of those things. And one of the things I pointed out in the sermon on Sunday was men have a tendency to be passive. And yes. And I have a tendency to be passive. And that is, I think, a result of the fall. It's Adam was passive by not helping Eve while she's talking with the snake. He just kind of sits back and lets it happen, which is dumb. He wouldn't step up and defend his wife. And I'll say there's been a lot of times where I've been, and I'm still working on this. It's very easy to just be passive, right? At least for me.
I'm not a guy, so.
I do want to know, like, as a wife, how does it make you feel when I'm being passive?
Angry, maybe. Depends on the situation, maybe.
Okay.
So it's either, frustration.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want you to lead. I don't want to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I have to do it all.
Right.
And carry weight that I wasn't meant to carry.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah. That makes sense. And it's like, your role should not be the one to carry the weight, but actually the one to help me carry the weight.
Right.
Yeah. It's so weird. And like, just thinking through it, like, there's different types of passivity, I think. Because I'm also the type where I don't sit down. Like, I don't sit down until you're sitting down. Like, it's very rare for you to be doing stuff and me to be sitting on the couch. I think that's rare. That's
right. No, I'm just thinking.
Yeah. So it's like, you can be passive while still being active.
Well, you don't want to make her mad. Right? So is that passivity? I don't know. It's like, oh no, she's working. I don't want to be lazy or make her mad.
I mean,
sit on the couch. So is that passive? Or is that worrying about what someone thinks?
Well, and I think they're related, because you can be passive and be busy. But it's, are you being passive about the things that, like, are you being passive about the things that you should be taking responsibility for? Yeah, like, just thinking about it a little bit. Like, too often I have found for me that it is much easier to just let you set the tone for our home. And not only set the tone for our home, but set the tone for what we do, how we raise the kids, how we discipline, all of those things. And in a desire to bring peace, I think I will set aside what I think should happen or should be important just because you say something small. And we've really had to talk about this right?
You always want me to be happy.
I always want you to be happy.
Yes, and it's annoying.
And if you have any other emotion than happy all the
Yes, it's a
time,
problem.
yeah. And you have told me, and I'm not good at this. You've told me like you need to tell me no,
Right.
and I'm going to be mad at you.
Yeah.
But you need to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Why is that like
Well, you want me to be happy. You can't tell me no. It's like raising a bratty child.
well,
Kind of. I mean, you're not raising your wife, but
right. Right. But like there is something to like as a husband, it's like and I think I've gotten a little better where I'll say, "Hey, I don't think we should be doing this," or "I don't think this should happen." Or even stuff with the kids. Like I find that it's my role a lot of times because you have a tendency to worry about them.
I'm
Because
just a mom.
you're a mom. That's what you do. And you'll be like, I feel like we're neglecting them. I feel like we're not taking care of them. We're not spending enough time with them. And I'm on the other side going, we do all sorts of stuff with them. I think it's okay for us to rest and relax or we're going to get burned out. And so, like in many ways, I've kind of looked at it this way. In many ways, because you're the mom, like with kids, you are very much so the steward of our children. Because I go to work, you stay home, you are more in tune with them, you notice things more about them, you do all of that. And so you are the steward many times of our kids. Not that you are doing that despite me or without me or, because we have, I feel like we work really well together, but I have to take on the responsibility of caring for the family, which includes you and me in our marriage. And sometimes that gets lost. Like I'm not really great at that because we're very, very different. And I do have a tendency to just sit back and be more passive and all of that, which leaves you feeling unloved.
Maybe. I don't know.
And I'm curious. I'm processing because when I preached my sermon, there were so many spots where I was like, "Dadgummit," there's areas I'm good at, but there's a lot of areas I'm not.
I don't know if it's like unloved. Like I wouldn't go there.
Okay.
Like
that's good.
Because like steering the kids, like if you don't like, I don't know, that doesn't translate to me very well. That's just caring for the kids.
It's just caring for the kids. Yeah. So all right, I want your perspective on this because you've had a front row seat to a husband that struggles with being passive. Okay. So we talked about how sometimes that comes out because the husband doesn't want to make the wife mad. Mm-hmm. So he chooses to be passive. From your perspective, what are other reasons that husbands are passive?
It's easier.
Okay.
Like it's easier just to do what the wife wants, right? Because she tends to be a little bit more emotional about things, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like holding diamond. I can't tell you that word. A bomb.
Yes. What is it that one thing that says my wife is delicate?
Yes.
But not like a flower. Not like a flower, but like I know. Yesterday was a long day. But delicate, not like a flower, but like a bomb.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's like that whole mom's not happy, no one's happy.
Mm-hmm.
So then he tends to, because of that, which I think is kind of stupid, that people that's your job. Like it's your job to, if you're unhappy, to figure that out. And not everyone else's job to change the atmosphere for you. As a wife or as a woman, it's not So I think men tend to like, well, I'm not going to rock the boat.
Right.
It's easier just to try to pretend the rapids are smooth.
Yeah.
If you will.
Yeah. Just pretending that everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Fine. Right.
Everything's fine. Don't rock the boat. Don't,
She's just hormonal or
I mean, there's like, I've heard guys who are like, oh no, it's just this. And it's like,
it's not that way every day.
No. And it's like,
it's a silly excuse.
It is. And it's somewhat degrading.
Right.
Like one of the things I've really had to learn is just who you are and how you process information and how you process different things. And that just because you're feeling a certain way one day does not mean that that is permanently. And my job is to love you through those and through those seasons.
Right.
And I was really bad at that for a really long time. And
yeah, men and women are just very different.
Very different.
Men run, not that women are illogical, but men tend to be more logical thinkers.
Yeah.
Women think with their emotions.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things you and I laugh about this, is it Nicky Gumbel?
I have no idea.
He's like a pastor and a comedian who talks about how men's brains and women's brains work. And
is he a comedian?
I think I don't know. He should be a comedian if he's not, but he
like a psychologist or something.
I don't know. Maybe. And it probably isn't Nicky Gumbel. I don't remember who it is, but he talks about how men's brains are in like boxes, and we have a box for everything, and we have a space for every box. And when we're done with one topic, we put everything about that topic back into the box and put the box away before we open another box.
Yes.
And we don't jump from box to box really well. And women are like spaghetti. Like everything is touching everything. Everything is intertwined. And I think the way he puts it is like the mess in the house is related to your mother-in-law, which is related to the kids, which is related to the dishes that you didn't do, which is related, which is related to that time you forgot the anniversary, and just 10 years ago, but it's all related. And now because you left your dirty cup in the sink, it's related to all of those things.
Right.
And guys are left going,
it's easier if I don't rock the boat.
Yeah. So I think guys sometimes they just take all the boxes, put them away, and they just sit there. Like
open their nothing box.
Yes, that's what he talks about. Open their nothing box. And it really is important, I think, for us men and husbands to really like take that step and go, okay, I want to understand how we're different, but so that I can come along and help, and we can really truly be partners in this.
I think that's just a man's job though either. So it's understanding like you're overwhelming him because he doesn't understand.
Yes.
How yesterday affected 6 months ago or years ago.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't understand that. So you have to learn how to explain those, how you got to where you're at with your frustrations or hurts or whatever.
Yeah.
Because you have to also understand man and
right.
The man you're with. Like it's not fair to put it all on him either.
I think that's true. Because I think when you and I began to really recognize some of those things, like just how our brains work different, it changed how we communicate. And
I think it took a while.
It did take a while. It did take a while, but it changed because there were elements where you're like you'll jump from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing, and then you'll stop and go, I don't know how all those things connected. And I'm like,
just do. It's all emotional, and it's how I feel right now.
Right. And so we turn around and it's like, and we can laugh about it now. Where I think early on we couldn't. And part of that was me not being willing to understand you and you not understanding me. And we had to work through so many of those things.
Yeah.
which I don't know a couple who doesn't.
Right.
I think the danger, though, is the couple that just stops talking about it, where the man just dismisses the woman as being emotional and irrational, and he doesn't have time for it. So he goes out to the garage or goes out to the shop or the barn or whatever. And he just, if she gets that way, he's just like, I'm done. And then the woman who doesn't understand, the pressures of her husband or understand what's going, like she's not taking time to understand that. And what ends up happening is you end up with two people who really don't have much of a marriage, but they're just roommates.
I don't even know if it's like he's dismissing it or if he goes, that's just how she is. Too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you let the bad behavior, a lot of times,
let it rule.
Yeah. Maybe it's not even bad behavior, but kind of let the unlogical emotion rule the house instead of trying to figure out why that exists.
Right.
That makes sense.
Right. Well, and even like you've mentioned like illogical emotion, which I mean, sometimes it is. Sometimes it is illogical. But I think it's important. Like I had to learn this. That doesn't mean it's not real.
No.
And that doesn't mean it's not really felt by you.
Right.
Like it might be a misunderstanding. It may be you took, I may have said something in a way that wasn't helpful and caused more pain than I ever intended. That's happened.
Well, and it's realizing like the pain might not even be from you.
Yeah.
It might be childhood pain. It might be past relationship pain. It might be any other number of pains that there are in the world.
Yeah.
So realizing like where's the pain stemming from?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where I make it illogical, right?
Yeah.
Is what I mean by that. Like you're letting some pain that you haven't dealt with rule your emotions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then everyone's like, oh, that's just how they are. And instead of dealing with the issue at hand, they just dismiss it.
Right. Well, and I feel like in those moments, if you'll name that pain.
And sometimes you guys have to dig together. Sometimes you have to stay up until 2 o'clock in the morning.
Sometimes you have to stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning, even though you got to be up at 6.
And mad at each other.
But talking through it and wading through and not just running away and I'll say this, like, because guys have a tendency to be more logical, I think a big part of our job in leading our wives is leading those conversations without getting sucked in to the emotion of it. Like, and I'm talking about the negative emotion.
Yeah.
Like you can't fight fire with fire.
Or you can't tell her just like, throw you under the bus.
Oh, throw me under the bus. It's okay.
Your emotions aren't true.
Oh God. Yeah. I did used to say that.
Yeah. And it's like, but it feels very true right now.
Right.
It might not make sense to you.
Yeah.
But I have a deep feeling right now.
Right.
And it is very true.
Right.
And it might not be true, but I have to work through to find what is true.
Right. Right. Like the feeling is real.
Mm-hmm.
Even
it might not be true.
Right. Right.
But the feeling is true.
Right. And I mean, it could be a misunderstanding. It could be any number of things.
Right.
But I do think that's part of this is what we're talking about is in Peter when he says, husbands, live with your wives in an understanding way. Mm-hmm. And just like that means taking the time to understand your wife, Yeah. So now I did run across something when I was studying all of this. I think I mentioned it in one of the 3 services.
It was not the recorded one. I feel a feeling.
No, I skipped over this part in the recorded one.
Good.
You and I talked about it briefly, but I'm curious your thoughts. Okay. And it's about how God created, like the differences in the creation process between how God created Adam and how God created created Eve. And like God created Adam out of the dirt, which I believe it talks about he created all the other animals out of the dirt. Like that,
Like
like,
his dirt or his words?
well, he would speak the words, but they were formed out of the
Okay.
dust. Oh man, now I gotta look. Now I gotta see. Because where I'm going with this is not only was he, well, we know Adam was formed out of the dirt. And then and Adam was formed in the wilderness, not in the garden. Let me see. Yeah, so Genesis 2:7 says, Then the Lord God formed the man of dust from the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living creature. And then the Lord God planted a garden in Eden, so that the garden wasn't even there yet. Like Adam was pre-garden. And then God planted a garden in Eden in the east, and there he put the man whom he formed. And out of the ground the Lord God made to spring up every tree that is pleasing. Let me see. The gold of the land, all of that. Verse 15 says, Then the Lord God took the man, put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and keep it. Verse 19. So verse 18, it says, Then the Lord God said, It is not good that man should be alone. I will make a helper fit for him. It says, Now out of the ground the Lord God had formed every beast of the field and every bird of the heaven, and brought them to the man to see what he would call them. And whatever the man called every living creature, that was its name. So Adam was made the same way as all the other animals. They were created out of the dirt of the ground, all of this. Eve is the only creature formed not only outside of, all right, Eve was the only creature created not out of dirt. She was shaped out of a bone, which means she is like unique and different and more valuable. Like she's brought out of man. But not only that, she's the only one created in the garden. Mm-hmm. And so the way I take that is man, like us men, we were created in the wild. Like we were made for in the wilderness. Maybe not for the wilderness, but to tame the wilderness. So we're not, like chaos doesn't destroy us. Like I feel like when chaos hits, I thrive.
Depends on the chaos. Because the chaos of when the kids were little, you're like, this is so overwhelming.
That's true. That's true. But like when COVID hit and everything shut down and we had to figure out how are we going to serve people and how are we going to do this, like I felt like a piece of me came alive of things are out of control and I get to bring order into some chaos. And you were right there helping me with it. And it was amazing. But I don't know that women are made the same way. Not to say that they can't, but there's a difference. There is a delicateness or whatever. I almost said a delicacy, and that's what you talk about eating things. So yeah, it's not that.
It's not that.
So I'm curious your thoughts on that.
I mean, I'm probably going to go a different route.
Okay.
Because it's like she's created different because she has a different purpose.
Mm-hmm.
To like in a broad scheme, like let's go really broad.
Yeah.
Like when God formed Adam and Eve and he made them, he already knew they were going to fall.
Yeah.
And he already knew that through woman, the Messiah would be born.
Mm.
So,
you
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so, and women have a different, I don't really know what to call it. It's like, yeah.
They're different. They're just, I mean, you guys are nurturers. You are more naturally peaceful.
That's not really where I was going.
That's not where you were going. All right.
No.
No, I get what you're saying about the Like the Messiah would be born from a woman.
Right. Well, she has like a target on her back too,
Yeah.
because
Gotcha.
Satan also knew that.
Which is why he went and tried to deceive her.
Right. So it's like he already knew this, and he already knew that, woman kind of had some power, and it's like, not that man is less than,
Right. No.
but it's like he knew through a woman the Messiah would be born. He had no idea when or how many years, or that's why he's always attacking and things. And I feel like that's why, like the emotions, and he clouds us sometimes, and like in femininity and like all that, and the feminist movements, and it has ruined womanhood and biblical womanhood, because it's like, no, you're the same as man.
Yeah.
No, we're not.
No.
We're not. We have a different purpose in our life.
Right.
And from like a broad womanhood of like all women.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before Christ came.
Right.
It was like, which woman is going to carry the Messiah? So there's always been like this thing. Are you like, I don't know.
Oh no, I'm completely tracking with you. It's this whole thing of, there is, I think, a universal realization. Now, all people are created equal in God's eyes, all of this, but there is something to women have a certain value that is different from men. And like, it kind of made me laugh a little bit when you said, the feminist movement and all of this. And I'm like, yeah, they're all feminists until the boat is sinking.
Right.
And then it's like,
oh yeah, we'll go first.
Yeah. Women and children first.
Yeah. We're not the same any longer.
Right. No, now we're not the same.
I am a delicate flower that needs to get in the boat. Excuse me.
And you men have to die.
I'm not as strong as you. I'm weak. Okay.
Yeah. And you men have to die. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because us guys, we understand that. Like, I've got a conviction that women should not serve in frontline military combat. Like, because several reasons. It's not that they're not capable, not that they can't do those things. They are not as strong, period. Right. They're just not going to be as strong.
There's those bodybuilders that are.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you're not going to, a lady's going to, like the normal woman is going to have a much harder time grabbing a 250-pound man with a rucksack on his back who just got shot and dragging him to safety.
Right.
Like, that's, you know what I mean? So there's that part, but there's also something, I think, a little trigger that happens in men where now the goal is not to accomplish the mission. Now the goal is, I have to protect her also.
Right.
And it changes things, because I think there is an instinctive value that we see towards women that men see, and we should. And that's why, as men, we have to step up and be willing to lead, even when it's hard, even when it's uncomfortable, even when sometimes it makes her mad. Like, let's be honest, if men would have been leading their wives, the feminist movement would have gotten to a certain point and then stopped.
Well, it's also, though, go back, because before it was bring me my slippers and bring me my newspaper.
Right. Men.
So then women kind of got, and then, or like World War I and World War II, and women had to go and work, but then the men came back and they had to give up their jobs, and then they found a purpose, because not all women are created to stay at home and to do that, or only that. Like, you do need to take care of your home. Like, that is your one priority, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's making sure your home and your children are taken care of.
Right. Right.
Regardless if you're at home full time or if you work full time. Like,
right.
So, but then, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's where a lot of that stemmed from, was just like, well, we can do these jobs too. We're just as good as men now, but the men come back, they're more important, so we have to give up our jobs.
Right. Right.
So then
it creates this whole domino effect.
Yeah.
Well, and women weren't allowed to vote, and only men could, and all of this. And it's like, there's
a long history of things, but I feel like we've kind of went, we're not the same. We're not created the same. We don't have the same purposes or anything like that.
No. And for way too long, the men were oppressive towards the women.
Right.
And that's not how it's supposed to be either. Men are supposed to value women. Right. They're supposed to help lead. They're supposed to be a part. They're supposed to do all of those things. So it was a good conversation. That was fun.
Okay.
So it's Staff meeting is starting right now.
Oh,
It's
is that
10
already
o'clock.
10? You took forever getting this thing set up.
I
so
know.
that's your fault.
I know. We're now in the what hopefully at some point will actually be a set up studio so we can do these kind of things more often. But that's it for now. I love you, baby.
Love you.
This is great. You have such good insight.
Okay.
All right. All right. We'll see you guys next time.